Right, right. Well, we have four people today, so I think that's good.
Okay.
So why don't we go ahead? Scott's not going to be here. Welcome, everyone. Monica's going to be sharing with us, and Scott is going to email his report. So just keep your eye out for that. And Monica, if you want to go ahead and get going,
Okay.
and thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, of course. I think you guys got an email from Bobby on today's call, and there were some notes in there. So attached to that email, if you check out the notes, it's basically what I'm talking about right now. If you want to go back later and print it out or just keep it with you or whatever. Because basically what I want to talk about is something that affects all of us from time to time, and especially when you're getting started, and that's time management. And Chaz, that's for you too.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and especially when you get busy, right? Time management is easy when you don't have anything going on, or when you have a few things going on, or when you're just getting started, and even then it's hard because you're learning a lot. But it definitely gets really, really hard when you get busy. So you have phone calls, you have texts, you have showings, you have emails to go through, you have paperwork, social media, errands you have to run, and that's just for work, right? That's not even touching your personal life. And so, in order to make sure that you stay productive, not just busy, right? Um, we want to try to build in some time management because you can work like a 12-hour day and still have a crappy, inconsistent business if all you're doing all day long is just reacting to whatever comes up instead of building your day around what actually creates business and creates results in the things that you want, right? Um, Something to keep in mind is that the agents who win, who do the best, who are considered top producers and all those kinds of terms, they're not necessarily the busiest. They're just the ones that are the most disciplined with the time that they have. And it's something that we all need to get better at, right? Even me, especially me. And that's kind of maybe why I decided to do that on this topic, because it was something I was focusing on a lot over the last week and really trying to focus on now as I'm, kind of putting together some new stuff. So, um, let me ask you a question. How many of you feel like you are always putting out fires instead of actually creating business for yourself?
Me. I get two hands for me.
Two hands. Bobby for sure, probably too, because you're putting out fires all the time. Um, Ashley, I know you're working on a lot right now. I'm sure you probably feel that way too.
Hanging in there.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Uh, Trina, how about you?
Lately, no, I don't have any fire to put out. That's what I'm trying to think strategically how to create a business.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Well, that's good though, because then right now, as you're doing that, that's kind of like what I'm doing, right? You're going to be doing more and more activities, even if it's not the putting out fire activities, right? Um, the more things that you add to your schedule, the more important it is that you focus on this. So, like what typically happens is most agents are going to start their morning with checking emails or text messages, right? Or if you're working with a client and you have an active property that's for sale or that you're in the process of purchasing, your client might need something right now, or there might be showings that need to be scheduled back to back, or you might have a little bit of admin work that kind of spills in throughout your day. And typically, what happens is lead generation and finding new business is the first thing to get pushed to later or tomorrow when this happens. And by evening, you're exhausted. You've worked all day. You've been running around like crazy, and you haven't done anything to build your business. You've just maintained, right? and hopefully maintained in a well where things didn't blow up and you put out the fires, but still, it's important that if you feel busy and like you got a lot done, that you actually got a lot done, not just in your business, but on your business too, right? Or is it the other way around? On your business, not in your business, is to grow your business too, right? Good time management isn't just about working more hours, it's about working on the right things at the right time. And that's going to be unique to you. It's going to be different for each person, right? No, if somebody says this is the absolute only way to do it, they're lying to you. There's always a unique way to do it for you. Some things to kind of keep in mind as you're trying to figure out what that way is for you and how to build your time management for your business and for your day and for your life, right? Because you're working around other stuff too, your personal lives, is understanding the difference between urgent tasks and important tasks, right? So urgent tasks are things that feel like they need attention right now. Like, for example, a client is texting you about a showing time, or a lender needs a document, or there's a quick question from escrow that you have to jump in to email and answer, or there's somebody who commented on a social media post and you want to get back to them right away so that you don't lose that connection, right? Those are immediate, urgent tasks that may need your attention right away. But then there's important tasks that help to create business for you. That's lead generation, however that looks. Calls, door knocking, farming, networking, whatever that is, right? Follow-ups with somebody that was a warm lead that you've been talking to, setting up a buyer consult or a listing appointment, nurturing your database, preparing for the next big thing that you have coming up. Those are important tasks and they need to not be ignored because they are the ones that create your business. Because the urgent tasks will always exist no matter what. They're always going to pop up no matter what. But the key is making sure that they don't push out all of the important ones because you're just reacting to the urgency, right? Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we've all heard before, time blocking. Love that word. Hated it in the beginning. I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I tried it a little bit and it didn't work. And I had to redo time blocking for myself a bunch of times before I understood the rhythm and made it work for me. Let me give you an example. If you were going to structure your day based on time blocking, the thing you want to do is try to structure it around when your energy is highest and best. So for most people, not me, because I am not a morning person, but for most people, the morning time is when they're sharpest, clearest. They have the most energy. They're ready to go. They're starting their day. They're crisp and fresh, and they can do things like lead generation. That's the best time for that because that's when you're talking to people and creating connections, and that's when you're going to have the most energy for that. It could be making calls, it could be even social media or networking, door knocking, all those things, right? Thing is, you want to stay away from emails and texts during this time because that is going to suck you in and it's going to drain all that energy away. And when you're talking to people on the phone or in person, that energy matters. They hear it over the phone. They feel it in the comments that you make when you respond to them. It makes a big difference. So try to keep in your head that lead generation time is different than follow-up time, right? That would be maybe a little bit later when you can touch base with yesterday's leads, schedule appointments, move conversations forward. That could be a little bit later, maybe like, late afternoon. Oh, I mean, late morning. I would say from like maybe 10 to noon until you're going to be taking a break. Try to do things like showings, buyer consultations, listing presentations, work that requires more deep focus, where you really need to be all there. And then leave all of the everything else to the afternoon. And the reason I say that is because most people, that's when their energy starts to wane. And they're not so, I want to be with people right now, you know? And so that's a good time maybe to do admin work, some paperwork, some emails, replies to emails, and, research, things like that. Tasks that maybe don't require creative energy or you being on, right? Something that you can do behind the scenes, behind your computer. That's better for the afternoon. And then even later in the afternoon, you can do things like create social media content or prep for the next day's appointments and meetings and do anything that you need to prepare for those meetings. Do those things later in the day. Another reason why that seems to work best for most people is because it's easier to reach people in the earlier part of the day, and in the later part of the day, they don't want to talk to anybody either. So, just as much as most people's energy is going to wane in the afternoon, so is the energy of the people you're contacting. And that's not maybe the best time to have a conversation with them, right? You can send them an email and then they'll probably read it then or maybe the next day. But it's almost good when you're thinking time block just to work it around that, work it around where your energy is highest. And because for me, I am not a morning person, I kind of switch that up. And I'll do things like my social media first thing in the morning because I don't have to talk to anybody and I can be creative. But then I'll make calls and those kinds of things like around noonish or like late morning. And then I never make appointments, me personally, until after at least 1 o'clock. I don't make an appointment to go see somebody, if at all possible. Of course, sometimes that's not possible and you have to go earlier. But if at all possible, I always try to schedule all of my appointments that after like 1 o'clock. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, I don't really want to talk to people first thing in the morning. I take a long time to get ready. Sometimes I'm out really late at night, and that means I wake up late, and that's just my reality. You know what I mean? I like to go out and party. So sometimes I get up late, and I know that if I schedule an appointment at 9 a.m. to go meet somebody, that might look really weird. You know what I mean? If I'm not ready. So I like to have that extra time in the morning to prepare or to get ready or to, just get in the right mood for whatever is the appointment. Like if it's a meeting with a potential buyer or even with a lender or even with just a lead, you know what I mean? So keep that in mind when you're structuring when to do things. Work it around your energy level. Another thing I would like to say in doing this, in doing time blocking and trying to think, when am I going to do certain activities? The one thing that's really important is to protect your lead generation time. And I mean, like it's sacred, like it's the absolute number one thing, because the truth is, it is. If you don't protect that time to build your business, to create business, literally nothing else you do matters. Because at some point you're going to run out of business. And I've been there. I don't know if some of you have been there, but I've been there where I didn't do that. And I just got through the stuff that I was working on. And then that ended. And then it took months to get to a point where I had business again. If I had not dropped that the way that I did, I would have been able to roll into more business faster. Maybe not immediately, but definitely faster. And when you have to wait 3-4 months to be paid on something, or even to start working with a new client, that hurts. You feel that, you know what I mean? You end up burning through savings and things like this. And it's a tough place to be in. We don't want that, right? We don't want to be doing this and this with work. We don't want to have business, and then nothing for a while. It shouldn't be like that, as long as you protect that time. So think of lead generation kind of like exercise. Nobody wants to do it. We all know we should. We all feel better when we do. And we all think, yes, I'm going to do it for sure. But it's also the first thing that gets skipped when we get busy, almost always, because it feels like the thing that's not urgent. but we can't treat it that way. You can't, you have to treat it like an appointment with yourself and your business. You have to hold that appointment every single time. And even if you push it a little bit, like an hour, fine, but hold it in the day, right? Even if you don't get it all done, do part of it. So put it in your calendar at that perk time, whatever that is. Maybe it's early morning for you, maybe it's the afternoon, whatever the time it is, put it in there. Turn off your notifications on your phone. Like put it on do not disturb during that time. If you have clients, you can send them a quick text, say, hey, I'm going to be in a meeting from this time to this time. If there's anything you need, I will follow up with you after. Use a checklist so you know that exactly what you're doing during that time. Have it ready from the night before so that you don't waste a bunch of time trying to get ready and get in the mode to do what you got to do. You should be getting ready for that time block just like you get ready for every other appointment by preparing, by having a list of people to call and things that you're going to do, whatever that looks like for you, right? And try to schedule at least an hour, ideally two. If that seems like impossible, that's just way too much time. Okay, fine, start with 30 minutes. The next day, do 45, whatever. Start with something, but put it on there and just do it consistently every single day. Mind you, there's always going to be some days when you are just going to have personal life and you're not working. That's understandable, but at least 5 to 6 days a week. It should be constant. It should be the only thing minimum that's constant, right? So there's in your worksheet there's some follow-up ideas too, when you're talking about time for following up with people, things that you can do in short little blocks of time that you can follow up with people. Because I know that one tends to be a little bit of a sticking point for some of us too. Like, oh, I need to follow up with that guy, but I don't really know what to do. Or I need to follow up with these people and I'm not really sure how to do that. This is the kind of stuff that, think of it as during your admin time the day before, when you're making a list of who to contact tomorrow, that's when you should be thinking creatively about how you're going to do that. And then when you have the appointment on your calendar or the time block on your calendar for lead generation or for follow-up calls or for follow-ups period, now you already know what to do. You don't have to spend half of it trying to figure that out. It's already, the homework is done for you. You just have to execute, right? Just get it done. So those are some important time blocks that I think we all need to make sure that we just do not skip. Another thing to consider, especially if you are maybe time blocking some things, but not necessarily everything, is that one big reason that we all kind of feel scattered sometimes is because we're switching back and forth from one task to another constantly all day. And I know probably more than anyone here, it's gotta be Chaz, maybe Bobby too, because you guys have so many hats and you're a part of so many different things going on there at the office, right? When you're constantly switching tasks, you're making a call, then you're checking an email, then you're doing some paperwork, then you're putting something on a social website, or you're following up with somebody, or you're whatever it is. When you're constantly switching from one type of thing to another, it takes a minute for your brain to settle into that.
Yeah.
And it's not just a minute. It can be up to 5 to 10 minutes for you to really lock in and focus on what you're doing. And every single time you have to switch like that, you're losing time. Really, you're losing effective time.
Yeah.
It makes you feel more mentally drained and it reduces your efficiency. So if at all possible, what you want to try to do is block similar things together. You may have to make a bunch of calls for totally different things, but make them all at the same time, right? You may have to check emails and do some paperwork that are for various activities, but try to do those together at the same time instead of throughout the entire day. We get into this habit of constantly checking our inbox, constantly checking our texts, constantly doing this and that and whatever throughout the entire day. It's a hard habit to break. But if you can do it and you can force yourself to just do, okay, I'm going to do this for now, and then I'm going to switch to something else. You get in the groove, you get in the zone, and you get better at what you're doing faster if you do that rather than switching back and forth. So just try to keep that in the back of your head when you're finding yourself like just running around a lot, right? I would say one other important thing is just protecting your personal time. I know that sounds like, oh, we're talking about work right now. But you need your personal time too. Because while some of the people who work at the office, they are just there to do their job and then they go home and they don't have to think about it. When you're a realtor and especially if you work from home, even if you come into the office, it doesn't really end there, right? It kind of stays with you. There's still things happening even after you get home. And if you work from home, even more so. So it's important to protect that personal time, primarily because if you don't, you're going to just feel burnt out. Sooner or later, you're just going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? You're going to feel exhausted. You're going to feel tired, and you're going to start skipping things like lead generation. First thing to go every time, promise you. Or you're just going to do a half-assed job. You're just going to like kind of, okay, I'm getting through it. You know what I mean? Or you're going to try making calls and you're going to sound like you don't even want to be doing it, or like you're exhausted, and nobody wants to talk to you when you're like that, right?
Yeah.
They want that guy that's on top of it, and and when you're really truly exhausted and tired, it's hard to fake that. I mean, sometimes we can, but it's hard. So build in some buffers for yourself, whatever that looks like for you, because each one of you has totally different schedules and personal lives. I don't have anybody but me here. So it's very easy for me to say, okay, I can work until this hour, and after that I can have personal time. But whatever that looks like for you, right? Maybe it's don't work after 6 or 7 o'clock. Figure out a time in your head, right? Or maybe it's don't work this one particular day because that day is for family stuff or my personal life. And it's okay if you have to tell clients, hey, here's when you start working with them, you can say, I need to know when you're available because I don't want to bother you at work or when you're busy doing other things, but I'm going to tell you when I'm available. You have to set that standard, because if you don't, they'll just call you and text you and want you and need you all the time, whatever their schedule decides. And so telling somebody, I work, Monday through Saturday, I'm available during these hours. On Sunday, I'm available very briefly for a 1 hour block for emergency situations, right? And you put it out there. Whatever that looks like for you, you decide. There might be things that are non-negotiables for you that absolutely have to happen no matter what. And they're already on your calendar and you're not going to move them because those are your non-negotiables. Maybe they're to go to the gym every day. Maybe it's to have a family dinner with the family every day, or whatever that is, right? If those are truly important to you, then don't throw them out the window just because you're working in real estate. There's no reason to do that. Things can wait. 99% of the things that we get contacted about that people are so crazy and like, oh my God, I need something to be done about this right now. The truth is, the majority of the time, they can wait. They can wait a couple of hours. They can even wait a day. You just have to be able to calm people and explain to them what you're doing and when you're available. And as long as they feel like you've got them, you've got their back, you will do whatever is necessary, then they're cool. They don't care if it's going to take 24 hours because you got them. And as long as they believe that, they're going to be okay. So that's the important part, to make sure that you communicate that well with them. The other one is maybe, make sure you get your sleep because we're all cranky when we don't sleep well. And also you're going to show up better. You're going to do your job better, quite frankly, when you protect your downtime. So there's an example of like a weekly rhythm that you can kind of try out for yourself of time blocking. Because me personally, I don't like to do the exact same thing every day. That's boring. And that feels like a 9 to 5 job, and I don't like that. So I do time block, but I do it in a way where some days I do certain activities, other days I do other activities, right? So Monday, for example, is a day that I like to not be making phone calls. I feel like everybody is always super, super, super busy on Monday. They're catching up from the week before. They don't want to be there. They don't want to do what they're doing. Everybody hates Monday. They're just not in a great mood. Monday is, in my opinion, one of those days when I try not to be on the phone with people. So that's when I plan. That's when I do, look at the pipeline and try to figure out who I'm going to be contacting throughout the week, plan appointments, maybe do a little bit of lead generation, but through emails and texts and stuff like that, right? So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, those could be more production days where you're on the phone with people, you're making appointments, you're going to appointments, you're doing showings, that kind of stuff. Thursdays could be the same thing, or maybe that could be when you're working on your database, or you're following up with people, or you're planning different projects on how you're going to get more lead generation. And Friday could be a good admin day. A lot of people end up leaving early from work on Fridays, and also they're thinking about what they want to do that night, and they're thinking about what they want to do over the weekend. You know what they don't want to do? Any more work. They don't want to think about serious stuff on Friday, I've noticed. To them, it might be fun to go look at houses over the weekend. So they might be talking to you about that on a Friday. But I find that Friday is a good day for maybe like admin work or planning the weekend or planning next week, maybe some light lead generation or, creating appointments for showings, stuff like that. So that could be like a Monday through Friday. And of course, the majority of us do work on the weekend. So you can kind of pick and choose if there's days when you want to take some time off. Or if you're like, no, I don't need an entire day off. I just don't want to work after 4 o'clock because I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this. Okay, it's your life, man. It's your business. Run it how you want. But figure out what works for you, put something on paper, put it on your calendar, and then try it for a while. And then tweak what's not working. If you find that, hey, I set it up this way, but I'm not really getting ahead in this part of it. I'm not getting ahead in the admin work, or I'm really not getting ahead in the lead generation. Something's always clogging that up. Well, then shift it, do something different, but put it on there and try something. So, think of this as a simple formula. I wrote it down here. It says plan it, which means block your calendar the night before. Protect it, which means say no to things that are going to intervene or screw that up or steal your important time. Do it, which means when it's time to do something, no distractions, sit down and get her done, right? And then repeat it. Repeat it every single day and try to have it be as consistent as possible. The less it shifts around, the better. So try it one way for a while. And then if you see you need to make changes, but don't constantly be shifting it and moving it and changing it every other day. Otherwise, it's not going to feel like something that you're used to. You're not going to have a muscle memory for it, if that makes any sense. For it to be easy to be consistent, it needs to feel familiar. Like, oh, I've done this a bazillion times. No biggie, get her done. But if it's constantly changing and it's different every time, it's not going to feel that way ever. So try to be consistent in a way that you can create that feeling. And then it'll be easier to keep doing it. There was a challenge on the sheet that was included in the email, which was to for the next week. And you can start it this week, or you can, think about it for the next day and then start putting something together tomorrow. Block your calendar tonight using some of these structures. Figure out something that might work for you. Protect at least one lead generation block, at least one day. Protect it like no exceptions. It absolutely has to be done at least one day. No exceptions. Batch some of your work together into one block so that it's not just here and here and here and here and everywhere. And then try to find some hour that you want to say, this is my cutoff, at least a few days a week, at least 3 to 4 days a week, or whatever you want to set it at. But try to figure out what that is and put it down, write it down somewhere. Put it next to your computer, put it on your phone as a reminder, have a little alarm go off at that time. So that way, even if you're not done with something, like, okay, well, if it's not urgent, it'll just be finished tomorrow. It's not going to take 5 more minutes. I'm just going to be done right now. You set that for yourself, and then you honor it, and then you feel like, sure, I did a good job. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm going to go have dinner, wine, go party, whatever it is you do at home. You know what I mean? Now you're like, you feel accomplished. You did the thing that you said you were going to do, and now you can go do something else in a great mood instead of feeling like, oh man, but I didn't finish that thing. And there was still that other thing that I didn't even get to. And I'm still thinking about all of that even after I've left. That's what you don't want, right? There's a time and place to be thinking about work. And at some point you just have to set it down. The stuff's
Monica, I have
not,
a question really
yeah.
quick. Sorry. You said there was a sheet on the email that went out. Was there an
Yeah,
attachment?
I was looking, I didn't see it either. So,
Oh,
did you send it to me? Because I can send it out right now so that everybody has it.
yeah, I sent it to Raina when I
Okay.
told her that this was what the topic was going to be. I thought she attached it, but maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I will have her send that out with
with
the
the replay.
replay,
Okay.
so everybody has it.
Yeah, it's just the notes from what I was talking about here, so that you can kind of have it all in one place. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't. That's pretty much it. I didn't really have much more on this. I think it's one of those things that's not really. Um, like I said before, it's not really fun. It's not really sexy. It's time management. I mean, come on, but it's truly the difference between really effective agents, I think, and those who like do well and keep moving forward and survive whatever ups and downs and who thrive, versus agents who are just always feeling like they're catching up. Um, the consistency of it really makes the biggest difference. Just doing it all the time.
Mhm. There's
Uh,
Like everything else.
there's
and Monica,
oh, go ahead, Trina.
I just want to add, if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to say this. It is a little different from where my job used to be because, of course, we're doing priority and stuff, but we have to separate the activity we do is added value or not. Like putting out fire and stuff like that. Sometimes we have to rethink, is that added value? So for this one, I think added value is a new lead, new perspective, buyers and stuff like that. So I have
Exactly.
to wrap my head around it a little bit to make sure what we're doing is value added. So a little bit different, but I think it's the same concept.
Definitely same concept. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. There's
Thank
a
you.
diagram called the Eisenhower time management diagram, and it's just a 4 quadrant square, and where you can organize your time or the tasks that you do by, are they important? Are they urgent? Or are they some mixture of those two? Maybe they're not important, but they're urgent. Maybe they're not urgent, but they're important. And organize all the tasks that you do in these 4 quadrants just to give you an image of how your day or what takes most of your time. And then put in the activities that fall into each one of those quadrants. And what we normally find, like what you said, Monica, is that most of the time, things that are urgent and important or urgent or not important get done fast or first. And those things that are important, whether they're urgent or not, or I'm sorry, the things that are important but not urgent are the things that are really the things that we need to be doing to further our business. So I loved everything that you said. Great presentation today.
And
Thank you.
you guys can also use AI for this too. I mean, I'm always a big proponent of trying to do that whenever it's something that feels a little more complicated. Like you're not really sure how you're going to do that, how are you going to structure it for you. If you go into AI and you say, hey, here's what my day usually looks like. Here's the things that I want to protect. Here's the time that is non-negotiable with my family. Here's the hours I have available to work, but I also need to pick up my kids at this hour. And here's the things I want to get done during these hours. Set it up for me in a way that makes sense with time blocking, and then let it do that. And then see what it gives you, and then tweak it to something that you feel comfortable with, that you can put on your calendar. You can always start out like that and then see how it goes for a week or two.
Mhm.
You don't have to like kind of come up with everything from scratch in your head. Please use these AI engines whenever possible to do the big thinking for anything that's coming up. Because a lot of times, yeah, of course, you could sit there and think about it for the next 3 hours tonight, or you could let it spit something out in 3 minutes and then just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. Like, what's going to happen if it doesn't work well? You tweak it the next day. It's probably better than what you were doing yesterday. So, I say with things like this that aren't about, it has to be only a certain way and only that way is appropriate, when it can be really flexible. I say don't spend too much time thinking about something. Just do it. If it's something that you can do with AI with it under 5 minutes, get it done.
Mhm.
Move on. Next task.
Yep. Yep. Good advice.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any questions for Monica?
No questions, but thank you. This was great.
Yeah, for
No
sure.
questions.
Thanks, Monica.
You're welcome. You're welcome, you guys. Oh, there's Phil.
Thank you,
Hey, Phil.
Monica.
When did you creep in? I didn't even see you come up.
I creeped in. I was actually at the dentist.
Okay.
I had a click down as quick as I could.
Dude, that's so funny. I went to the dentist yesterday, and then Ashley's going today or tomorrow or
Oh.
whatever.
Today, yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, after I got
The dentist week.
yeah, it's like I don't want to buy a car after they gave me the prices of everything.
Oh.
Yeah, oh geez.
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
Yeah, I just have a tooth hurting, that's all. I'll have it extracted somewhere else.
I want to ask a question. Do you guys have any rental, like 2 bedroom, 1 bath available right now? Chastity?
That's a great question. Nothing available right now, but hopefully one coming available.
Oh, okay.
Trina,
When you have,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
When are they looking to move?
Sometime in May.
May. Okay, we can look and try to find them something. Who is it?
This is my previous tenant. She moved out and
Does she want to buy?
she just contacted me. No.
Josh has one. That's what I was
Okay.
gonna say. Like, we know people that have rentals also. I could give you those names. Like if we don't have some, I know people that might, if you'd like to call them.
This is kind of silly. I guess not silly, but looks like 68 above our property on Edge Hill is for rent. They're it texted to you.
Yeah.
I'm back. So yeah, the last time we went, Ashley, you say 68?
I think it's 68. Whatever
Oh,
above 67.
okay.
Yeah, it would be
Well-
68.
Okay. Thank
Are they
you.
looking at Edge Hill, Trina? Would Edge Hill work for them?
I think so.
Okay.
Nice.
So if you have anything, just let me know. I can let her know.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Go out and make it a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Monica. Great presentation. I appreciate it.
You were speaking to me, Monica. Thank you.
Excellent. I like it. I like it. Thank you guys. Talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.